Leah's crying, and we get the first instance of Leah breaking the fourth wall.
Breaks the fourth wall.
And she talks to camera.
And so does Malcolm.
Yeah.
In the beginning.
Yeah, and the whole show. I don't know if you remember.
Yes, no, maybe. I don't know. Can you repeat? Yes, no, 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 maybe.
Hello and welcome to Yes, No, Maybe. My name is Ryan.
My name is Willa.
We are brother and sister, and this is a podcast where we discuss, debate, and relate to the widely seen and criminally underappreciated 2000 sitcom Malcolm in the Middle.
Malcolm in the Middle. Life's Still Unfair.
Life's Still Unfair.
Does that imply that the subtitle of the original is Life's Unfair?
Not at all.
We do discuss, debate, and relate to the 2000 sitcom Malcolm in the Middle, but as is abundantly clear, there's been a revival.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a revival. And
It dropped on April 10th. All episodes are directed by Ken Kwapis. It's on Hulu and Disney+. Linwood was a writer on all of them. The first episode he wrote by himself, just,
sat down and wrote it.
investigating, like excavating the depths of his soul by candlelight, probably like burning the midnight oil, like kind of just grinding, writing that shit. It's interesting to
What do
think
you
about.
think he was wearing? That's a question that comes up in this show.
For this episode, we're going to talk when?
In the sex assault scandal.
Oh, what he was wearing.
The textual assault.
The textual assault?
Yeah.
Why?
When she gets when the kid asks her.
Oh, I thought you meant this. Oh, sure. I thought you meant when his wife, his girlfriend, what's her name?
Tristan.
I thought you meant when Tristan turns out to be the naked shooter.
Oh, no.
Lot to get into.
Wow. See, we're already getting into spoilers. So if you were wanting a spoiler-free overview, well, you're in luck. We've got one. That was our last episode we dropped. But now, this episode, we're going to talk about 1 and 2 of the revival.
Episodes 1 and episode 2. First episode, directed by Ken Kwapis. They all are. Written by Linwood Boomer. Second episode, directed by Ken Kwapis. They all are. And written by Linwood Boomer and an old friend, Michael Glauberman.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Michael, how you doing?
Mike, let's talk.
I mean, it's Michael. It's been so long, Michael.
It feels like a one-way conversation.
No.
You be Michael.
Hey, I'm Mikey here, Glauberman. Just wrote the second episode with my buddy Linwood. You be Linwood.
Mikey, look at the hell we doing out here.
You've gotten old, Linwood.
Mikey, I'm scared.
Linwood, they're foreclosing on the house.
Mikey, I had a dream last night that we ran away together.
Linwood, doesn't have to be a dream forever.
So that's just a peek into how the episode was written. But what are we even talking about? We're talking about episodes 1 and 2, which is something we pointed out to ourselves on the couch. Is that you have a cute little belly. No, is that the episodes don't have titles. It's just 1, 2, 3, 4. So we could play a little game and kind of give them titles of our own.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Oh yeah. Okay. First one.
Massacre of the Senses. What is it? That came out of nowhere.
You often have like one word titles, right? So it
Yeah.
would probably be like
Return.
no, definitely not return. It'd be more like
Reset. Reset. Okay,
No.
set. Okay, cool.
Sure. Never has the show ever had a title that was like
Yeah,
that.
like a little joke.
No, it'd be one word. It would be like not hidden or whatever, but it would be like
Undisclosed.
sure. Malcolm hides, right?
Yeah,
That would be like,
I like that. Okay, that's good. I think we're really getting into
Episode
this.
2 would be called A Cruel Second Chapter.
So different. The bitter reveal of loneliness and
Episode 2, Bitter Reveals.
bitter reveals.
Again,
So
not
bad.
Okay, the first one's called what?
Malcolm's lying.
How Malcolm Hides.
Malcolm hides.
Bitter Returns.
Bitter return sounds like a bar, like a really fancy ass bar.
Yeah.
Bitter's return. Ooh, because
There's a character
Bitters.
named Bitters Returns.
Excuse me.
There's a character in the show named Bitters in this new revival, episode 3, and he returns.
Don't fill our audience with gobbledygook in their head. There's already enough characters to try and keep track of without Bitters in the mix.
Thank God they didn't bring back Bitters.
Yep.
We are way off track.
Well, the first episode opens with kind of a little compilation of all the of a bunch of violent moments from the show and gross out moments, sort of. And it's Hal, which I think is apt for this revival. It really Hal has the strongest arc. I would say in order of arcs, probably Malcolm, Hal,
Lois, Francis.
Francis. No.
Lois, I mean, Lois's arc is very, you
is.
find out is sort of intrinsically tied to Hal's
Yes.
because it is so much about him, we'll get into it, but she's claiming to talk, like, do this whole celebration for her. It's like, you get your chances to express your love for me. This is for me.
Well,
but then
me, for you.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. It kind of you find out that it's like it's for Hal because she's putting this whole thing on to prove to show that to express love for him.
I think you're wildly off base.
No, I don't think so.
Sure, the whole thing is for Hal because everything's always about Lois because he's always making things.
That is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but you said it's all her.
But there's the whole thing in the first episode where Hal has these giant gestures of love.
Right, the first episode, Malcolm hides.
And she's like, I want this to be for you get all these chances.
Just stop saying for me,
Okay.
for me, Lois.
You get all
please.
these chances to make it for you. You get all these chances to make it about you, and she's saying this one should be about me.
No, it's not. It's about Hal. All right. So, yeah, Lois's quest is sort of to do this whole thing for Hal, which in turn makes it that she, during the whole revival, is the person who's most interacting with, like, outsiders, strangers. She's kind of doing deals, like not really interacting with the family as much.
Too much, yeah. But she is, because Hal has this conquest where he's trying to prove his love or express his love to her.
Conquest.
He does stuff.
I think you just added con in front of quest.
Quest. Sure. Well, but it's all in certain ways to conquest.
Okay.
Episode 3, Hal's conquest.
Okay.
Seriously, I'm being serious.
Seriously.
No, he has all these giant displays of love, all these roses getting dumped on her,
Yep.
and these guys coming in with shooting this confetti cannon.
Yeah, I like those guys.
And tattooing that guy's back and having him go in front of their house every day.
Right,
and she's sort of like, you express your love your way, right? And she's sort of like, I'm the one that's in charge of this reunion because I want this to be on my terms a little bit. She wants.
Stop! I know what you're doing here.
What?
You're saying it's for her.
Well, I sort of am. Is that she wants to set the parameters because she's like, you're so adamant about the way that you express your love for me.
Right.
Let me have this, and she is, really being. She's in charge of the setting up the anniversary.
It's on her terms. That's true.
But you find out in the last episode that it's kind of ironic because all of this, she's putting in all this effort, but it really is this expression of love for him in the way that he's been expressing his love for her. And all she's been working with presumably a camera crew to set up these talking head interviews with all of them to do this giant thing. And she basically says as much on stage in that speech.
Yeah. So this was us just doing a brief overview of all the arcs.
Returning to sort of talking about which arcs are the most prominent.
Yes.
Perhaps I would argue that Malcolm has the most. Malcolm Leah, is the number one priority. Number 2, we're saying is Hal and Lois. That's totally true. Favoring a little bit Hal more because the third episode is really indebted to him. And then I would say Frances Piama.
Yeah.
And Piama is pregnant. And Frances. Congrats, Piama. Our baby shower present is in the mail.
Yes, you're gonna like it.
You're gonna like it.
Not really for the baby, if you get my drift.
I don't.
It could be anything.
I don't claim to. I don't hope to. I don't wish to. Frances and Piama, they're expecting a child, and Frances kind of wishes that Lois favored that more because Lois reveals that she has this list of priorities, and Frances Piama's new child is like number 7 or something.
Yes, I think we are getting a little ahead of ourselves.
Well, we're just talking about the arcs of all the characters.
Well, across episodes 1 and 2.
Sure. Yeah.
Because it's tough because it is sort of, apparently they did write it as sort of a movie and then turn it into this 4-episode saga. So they do all bleed into each other a little bit, but yeah, as best we can.
Reese's arc in the first 2 episodes has to do with Hal, because when we catch up with Reese, he's still living at home, which is kind of a bummer.
Total loser.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a bummer. I kind of wish that he'd figured it out a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't killed others or hurt himself too bad.
He's been married a couple times, we hear.
Yeah, we have heard that. I would love to meet the woman who finally bagged him. Yeah.
But he spends a lot of time with Hal, and it's interesting. They do a lot of house repair stuff, and it's kind of like Hal mentions that they're doing this repair stuff that doesn't need to be done. Retiling the bathroom like every 6 months, building a shed or whatever,
Which is funny because he's kind of asking Hal how to do the tile. Like he's like checking with him that he's doing the tiles right, but they've been doing it every 6 months. Funny little.
There's a scene where Reese is like, do you know what a metaphor is? Like us fixing this, these tiles, or us kind of fixing our relationship.
Yeah, you're like a tool, and Hal's like, I'm your tool.
Yeah. But of course, we find out that actually Reese has a YouTube channel or internet show called what's it called? Dumb Dad or something?
Dumb Professor?
Yeah,
It's
Professor Dum Dum?
Professor Dum Dum.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, look it up. But, and essentially it's this show where Reese films Hal making a fool of himself and then kind of does a little selfie of him laughing at him and then back to Hal.
He's making money of humiliating Hal.
Right.
Online.
I guess the AdSense. I'm assuming he doesn't have the wherewithal to make it Patreon. And I'm assuming he doesn't have
No, it's probably on YouTube, and he's got. I said
AdSense.
Oh, that's
and I'm
what
assuming he doesn't have the wherewithal to join Gotham Network.
Yeah,
which is our
have.
podcast network that we're graciously a part of.
We are part of Gotham Productions.
Yeah. I mean, we don't make money.
No, we don't make money. Of course not. Come on. We pay them. And
What is this? What do you think this is?
Yeah, seriously. We're in my bedroom right now.
It stinks. It fucking stinks in here. But yes, so the Professor Dum Dum, is that what I said?
I can't find it.
Well, that's the thing we're expecting. Like we've been covering a show that's 20 years old. So anytime we need to know anything about one of the episodes, it's online because people have poured over them. But these are brand new.
I bet. Okay, interesting. Let's see what the Malcolm in the Middle fandom. There's that
the page,
the wiki that we do.
What's it called?
Malcolm in the Middle wiki on fandom.com.
Wilkersonicki.
Episode 1. Let's see what they say about episode 1. Let's see what the trivia is for episode 1.
Oh yeah, I mean we found some stuff. Like Kelly wearing the same shirt as Malcolm did in the pilot. Although it's not the exact same shirt, we learned. We've got an exclusive interview with Vaughn Murray coming out sometime next week where they talk about Kelly and all things Kelly, really.
Trivia for this episode on fandom. Really interesting trivia to start.
Does it give us the street?
No, it gives us the production number of the episode, which is 1JJU01. Interesting.
Okay, I thought it was 1JJU02.
Francis claims that he is turning 39 and that he was born on Hal and Lois's first anniversary, much to their confusion, it says in parentheses. However, in the flashback episode, it is revealed that he was born on their wedding day. Lois and Hal stare at each other awkwardly as Lois nervously attempts to laugh it off. The ambiguity regarding this would also track with no motorcycles, casting doubt on his true age. So they don't actually really know how old he is.
That's funny. Well, they must know if it was their wedding day.
I suppose.
We were talking about Professor Dum Dum and Reese's arc. So he's got this secret account he's been making money on. So it turns this, what is introduced as a nice father-son bonding thing into actually a money grab for Reese, which I assume he's kind of been doing his whole life, is these money schemes and such.
Those are kind of the main arcs. And of course, we have Leah's sort of solo arc about her at school and kind of being an outcast and finding her place in the social scene.
Here's what I'm not totally understanding with Leah. Is she empathetic or is she not? She's.
I think she's very smart like Malcolm, and she's a little bit of an outcast for it.
Outcast because she can notice everything that other people are thinking, but she can't. Like, they kind of imply, because Piyama has that speech to her in episode, I think it might be episode 3, or maybe 2. It's episode 2, where, it is episode 2, where she's, she's like, well, you just need to, like, imagine you have empathy for people. Because she's like, your dad doesn't have empathy and you probably don't either. But she doesn't, I don't really get the sense that she doesn't have empathy.
Yeah.
So that was a little tough for me because I just didn't, and maybe it's just because she's a really charismatic performer that I'm like, okay, I think that she's just a sweetie. But yeah, I guess, is there a difference? Can you look this up? Is there a difference between empathic and empathy? Empathetic and empathic. That's what I'm wondering.
Empathic versus empathetic?
Yeah. Because I know what pathetic is. I'm looking right at it.
Empathetic is more common in general conversation, while emphatic.
Empathic.
Empathic.
Did you spell it wrong?
No, I didn't. Empathic is often used in technical, psychological, or clinical contexts.
Okay, so they mean the same thing.
Yeah, essentially.
Fuck. Okay, well, yeah, that we'll get more. We can get more into the Leah thing, but that was just like right off the bat a little bit.
I agree. It's a little bit doesn't totally track for me. Like
I need her to be more of an asshole if we're supposed to believe she's an asshole.
because there's that scene where she's like talking to that girl and she's like, "Oh, you might who has the crazy hair?" And she's like, "Oh, you might have ringworm." Was that what it was?
Yeah, this girl comes up to her asking for help for homework, and she's like, "Oh, I can see that you've been pulling at your hair and it's coming out." Like she points something out.
Like, but that you could just have worms.
But, yeah, it's probably just ringworm, which actually isn't a worm at all. It's a fungus.
And then it kind of makes this girl upset. But
She starts crying.
this girl already does seem kind of Krellboyne-esque. She doesn't seem like the most popular person ever.
Yeah.
But then it's sort of like that interaction is interpreted as she's being mean to this girl.
Right. It's like she made this girl cry, so she's kind of a bully.
But is that the conflict, that she's viewed as a bully or is she viewed as a dork? Like, it's never fully clear.
I think she's supposed to be a bully because then she gets sent to the counselor's office, and the counselor is like, which I really like that scene. When the counselor's kind of like, you told this girl she had ringworm or something, and tells Leah off, but Leah I love how smart Leah is and how every interaction she's just kind of like explaining exactly what's going on and over explains. Like that's her problem. She over explains. And it is interesting, like in girl world, like being a girl that over explains is different from being a boy that over explains.
Yeah.
And examining how that looks.
Yeah. And talking about like boy world versus girl world, like when Malcolm
Do you need some help?
When Malcolm's explaining his life in the beginning, he's driving, he's coming home, he's talking about like, my life is so amazing. I have this daughter that's so great.
Yep.
It's actually like, being a dad like comes easy to me. We find out that the mother of Leah left one day after giving birth.
Right.
And it's funny, the only picture they have of her, it's like she's smoking a cigarette in the hospital bed.
Yeah, she's in the hospital bed pregnant.
Which is kind of like a moment of absurdity. It's funny to imagine that they would even frame that.
Yeah. And that's really humorous to imagine.
But then Malcolm's like, I'm so good at being a dad, and like, I just understand her. And then he opens the door and she's crying inside in her bedroom, and he slams the door, and it's this immediate thing of like, oh, he has a daughter, and this is nothing like the conflicts that he dealt with when he was a kid.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right.
Like,
He didn't have
kind
any
of teenage troubles. It's a lot more psychological, like cerebral.
Right, which maybe he's good at because he is more cerebral than his brothers.
But evidently, like he's not fully equipped to deal with it.
And let's just, if we're going to talk about Malcolm, so yeah, the whole show opens with him at his job after we get this little super cut of, the violent moments. And I think Hal kind of
Hal's the voiceover is, you asked for this.
Yeah, you asked for more. People actually wanted more, which is cute. And yes, we did. We did. But we open at Malcolm's job, and he works for a charity. Like, they create systems that they get food waste and they redistribute it to other places so that no food is wasted.
Yeah, and it's like a tech system.
It's a tech system that does that. So it kind of combines tech and also doing good for the world.
The company installs computer systems in grocery store chains and food manufacturers to align their inventory software with food banks and shelters across the United States.
Bam.
So it's but it's sort of, you get the impression that he has chosen this noble job as a way to sort of be like, I'm a good person. And
it's because if he wants to not hang out with his family, he has a great excuse to be like, well, I have to go help the charity, and that trumps everything. Funny that we talked to Linwood Boomer, creator and writer of the show, and he for his post Malcolm career has been creating this charity called Healing California.
Healing CA.
Well, that's if you want to go to healingca.org. You can and donate. But it's a great organization. But it's funny that he's kind of like making a bit of the fact that, people who do this could have like an ulterior motive.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like Malcolm always has been like a conduit for him, like when he was a kid.
Right, right. So
it kind of tracks that he's allowing Malcolm, it seems, to express maybe parts of, like, poke fun at himself, or express maybe like, darker thoughts he's had or sides of himself.
Yeah, definitely. But there is a little bit in the first bit in the show is that there's this intern at the food bank place or whatever company he works for, and who comes up and is asking, like, he explains what the work is that they do. And the intern immediately goes, what's a food bank?
Yeah, what's a food bank?
And
then he's like, watch the video a few times.
Yeah, why don't you watch the video? And then it's like, and then it becomes this thing where he's like, I've learned to deal with idiots. Like, he used to kind of like cuss people out. Cuss people out, that'd be funny. But I guess the bit is sort of because she's like, oh, I had to compete with all these different people to get this position. And it's like, oh, is it like that the next generation's kind of stupid?
I guess so. Yeah, a little
Or am
bit.
I just over?
Yeah, I guess that's kind of the idea.
Yeah. I just take umbrage with that because I don't think I'm stupid.
Well, I got bad news for you.
Leah's crying, and we get the first instance of Leah breaking the fourth wall.
Breaks the fourth wall.
And she talks to camera.
And so does Malcolm.
Yeah.
In the beginning.
Yeah, and the whole show. Dude, I don't know if you remember. Malcolm's kind of talking to camera a lot.
Okay.
But yeah, Leah breaks the fourth wall after Malcolm had just broken the fourth wall. They don't do it like at the same time.
They do sometimes.
Hint for later.
Whoa,
but
clever.
I thank you. I was going to drop that in. And then later we'll talk about it. So she breaks the fourth wall. She's kind of talking about how she hates her fucking life. Sorry, I forget exactly what she says. But she breaks the fourth wall and is explaining how she has this brain that can just understand all this stuff, and it makes it really difficult since at school she knows exactly when people are making fun of her. Malcolm is a good dad, it seems like.
Yeah, he loves her a lot, and he's involved in her life, I would say.
Yeah, and he overanalyzes, but he's a little scary. I mean, he's overanalyzing every situation. He's like, I could go in there and use this defense, or I could use that, or I could quell her fears, but boost up her confidence, like that kind of stuff. He's always doing that in every interaction, which just makes me wonder if he's like okay.
He seems like he's definitely not okay.
Well, then we'll talk about that later in episodes 3 and 4 because things do come to a head of being like, okay, you put all this stress on my life, my parents, whatever. And it comes to a head of, and I did this and I'm doing this with my life. And Lois is kind of like, well, isn't that, it sounds like a pretty nice life. And I'm like, even if everything looks good on the outside, like Leah and Tristan and the job, like if his day-to-day moment-to-moment experience is full of stress and anxiety, like is it a good life? That's just something I want to drop early.
Something you think about. You think about a lot.
For myself, yes.
Malcolm has his girlfriend named Tristan that he's very much in love with, and in the first episode he's anxious to introduce Leah and Tristan because he hasn't done that yet. So that's kind of a plot thread. We go back to the family home, Hal and Lois's home. We do a little flash thing where we see the old house and then the new house. Like we see,
we see the upgrades.
Yeah, love what they've done with the place. Sort of. I mean,
I like the charm of the old place.
Yeah, but it was very of a different time. Yes. Anyway, Hal's getting his body shaved like the original, right in front of the laptop, which Dewey is on. Dewey is now an artist, musician, making music abroad and having sex with a lot of ladies, which is good for him.
Making love abroad, every broad in every country.
Very good.
Very good. Thank you.
And then we're introduced to Kelly, who's this interesting character because they are the newest child of Hal and Lois, the one that we see Lois pregnant with at the end. Kelly is smart and clever, not really a troublemaker, but also has a not rebellious is the wrong word, as Vaughn kind of pointed out, I'd say. But They can tell they like to go against the grain. They'd like to start shit. They instigator, perhaps.
I think Vaughn was describing how they like to observe the shit stirring or like observe the stuff going down, but don't necessarily like to be in it themselves.
Sure.
They seem like really confident and really like okay with themselves. If they are kind of an outcast at school, which we don't really see, Leah cares more that she's an outcast. Kelly, I don't think would give a shit. So it's interesting. They first come in and are like, have a line that's just like, I'm not afraid of you to Lois. Like, I think Lois probably doesn't know what to do with Kelly very much. Neither of them really know what to do because they're a kid that doesn't really give them any grief or any problems. Yep. So I think that it's a fundamentally different relationship. One thing I want to say about Hal being completely naked, at least in the original, like he had a newspaper in front of his nuts.
Yeah.
Like the laptop is positioned.
It's almost
in
intentional.
such in a way that like
in such in a way
to get him a day that the camera is focused right on his father's scrotum. It feels it's a lot.
And am I mistaken that in our introduction to Dewey, that woman is also in the apartment with him?
Yes.
And so she's probably like, hey, why do you have a full view of your father's penis? on laptop.
And
getting
why is he aroused?
Yeah, and getting shaved by your mother. You know, like he's like, oh, I'll meet you in the bubble bath. No, the bubble bath thing is later.
Yeah,
but I think we do see she does pass by the camera.
She's in the back. I think she's French though, so I think she's used to that.
So yeah, new Dewey is played by a new actor, Caleb Ellsworth Clark. He's great. I mean, Dewey is on a laptop the entire time, and it's kind of an interesting thing because some people I know are a little bit upset about that, but it's a tricky situation because Eric Pear Sullivan does not want to come back. You know.
Yeah. Power to him.
Power to him. You can't not have Dewey attend the reunion in any way.
Yeah.
Because then it would be a thing because Lois and Hal are so upset that Malcolm's not going.
Right. Plot wise.
Yeah. I guess you could. Yeah.
Could have done like a bit where it's just the back of his head always or something.
Right.
But, you know, I think it worked and it is fun. Like, I think it's great that Dewey's a musician and he's traveling the world and Dewey fucks. I mean, that's something that's now confirmed.
Yeah.
Obviously, we wouldn't want to discuss that in the earlier seasons, but now, but now he's an adult and it seems that he's quite a paramour.
Yeah. And we'll do an episode about that. But yeah, I mean, we kind of touched on all the plot lines. I mean, we meet Tristan in the bed with with Malcolm.
So yeah, we made his new girlfriend that he's completely in love with and thinks is amazing. She is a complicated person. We learn later, and we'll get to that in episodes 3 and 4. But she is very into that. She has this big speech about like honesty and being completely happy with him knowing and being okay with everything that she is, which is kind of interesting because of the stuff that comes out later.
Yeah, she's intellectual and sweet, but very smart. And
I mean, I think a big part of it is just Malcolm being like, "Oh my God, look how gorgeous my girlfriend is, and I have this gorgeous, smart girlfriend, and cool." Like.
And this daughter, but of course at the cost of removing himself from his family's life, so eventually Tristan and Leah do meet, and they kind of bond by by their understanding of how psychotic Malcolm is, because they're like, they tell each other the ways they've already been prepped about.
Yeah, Malcolm has spent time like telling each of them so much about each other so that they don't have basically Malcolm's like obsessed with planning and scheming so that things are never awkward, never bad, and his life goes exactly how he wants it.
Which is kind of funny because he's sort of in his character in the survival is so affected by the plan that Lois put on him.
Yeah, it's true. It's like but maybe through that he's like, okay, so things need to be planned. Like I need to have a plan, or I need to have a plan so that Lois's plan isn't my plan, or I don't know what it is, but he is obsessed with that. That is kind of OCD too. You guys have a lot in common.
So after they kind of bond over this and the ways that Malcolm is a weirdo, including the way that he puts on
his aftershave.
Cologne, aftershave. Lois and Hal barge through the door because we forgot to mention that Kelly talked to Malcolm earlier, and basically what they gleaned was that Malcolm is not coming because he's so busy, blah, blah, blah. But Lois and Hal burst through the door of Malcolm's house and get on his case about not showing up. And then they're shocked to learn that Malcolm has a daughter. And Leah is shocked to learn that Malcolm has parents because she's been told, like, they're not dead.
Yes. Yeah. You have a daughter. They're not dead.
Yeah,
it's,
right.
With a 1-2 punch.
It's true. And it's very dark. You know,
it's I gasped at this. I did not expect him to be completely keeping them in the dark.
Yeah.
But
when we watched the screeners, one of the things that Disney said to us was that, like, don't reveal this. This is one of the things that can't be revealed in any reviews or whatever.
Yeah, I think the creators also like wanted to make sure that was not told in the trailer because there was some debate about whether they should reveal that in the trailer or not. But I'm glad they kept it.
It's a dark kind of reveal, and which is what I want to touch on for this revival, which is kind of sad. I mean, the revival it's funny. It's definitely very funny, but it has a kind of sadness which I appreciate. You know, it's like a sort of like these characters. Some of them didn't end up as successful as you thought they would.
Yeah,
Malcolm's dealing with these very real things, and you know, it's kind of like unflinching in some ways. That I appreciate.
Malcolm is just like dealing with the reverberations of his childhood and how he perceived, his parents' expectations of him. Like he's kind of trapped by his own brain in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I mean, the Hollywood Reporter's review of this revival is, first of all, bizarre review that I don't know how made it past editors. I mean, like,
is that the one where he's like, "Oh, Malcolm must have killed his wife"?
So the reviews in general for the revival have been kind of all over the place. Like I think it's generally positive on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
If you would ever care about that, like The Guardian gave it 5 stars and said it's like the best thing that Bryan Cranston's ever been involved in.
Really?
Yeah, but then
Brian's amazing in it.
Variety said it felt unnecessary. Whatever. There's conflicting kind of accounts, which I think is kind of it's a good thing because it's like it means that this is trying something.
Yeah. And I think it does.
Really
it
does.
Swings for the fences in a lot of ways that I really appreciate it.
But the Hollywood Reporter, besides being a bizarre review that keeps coming back to this joke about Malcolm killing his wife.
Yeah,
which
like a headcanon by the writer.
Yeah, which isn't. It would have been fine if it was like a one-off kind of line that he mentions in the review, but he keeps coming back to it and being like, and this supports my evidence that blah, blah, blah. And I know it's like a joke, but it's like, first of all, not that funny that he keeps coming back to it.
The theory is that the reason Malcolm's so psychotic and acting so weird is because he's killed Leah's mom.
Yeah, I mean, theory.
Whatever. Yeah, it's like a joke that his review hinges on.
It's just kind of bizarre and feels like dumb that it so much hinges on that.
Well, yeah, because it overshadows the substance of the project.
Yeah, it's not really engaging with it. So great job, Hollywood Reporter. Keep it up.
We'd love for you to review our podcast.
Yeah, come on the pod. But yeah, that's where kind of the first episode ends, is that Hal and Lois confront Malcolm, and whereas Tristan and Leah are there, and Malcolm is like, okay, everybody sit down, and he's about to explain things, and then he runs off, runs out the door.
Tries to get in his car, can't get in his car, so he just runs down the street and just keeps going. And yeah, you get to see his
little run,
which we've always wanted to see. I've talked about that. No, he runs down the street and he just keeps going, and even like as the credits start to roll,
it's funny how long he's running for. Yeah. But it is interesting. It kind of harkens back to that moment that Reese Francis comes back from military school after being emancipating himself, and Hal immediately chases him out the door, and he's running, and it kind of made me think that like, in some ways, Malcolm in the survival is a little bit Francis, where he's geographically separated from them, and he kept this big secret from them, much like Francis got married to Piama without mentioning anything. And when he comes back, he's because he separated himself because of the conflict that he has with Lois and with the family, much like Francis. And then when he comes back, he runs. So it's rhymes a little bit. I mentioned that to Tracy.
You did?
Over text, and she was like, "Oh, we didn't think about that." So, but these things kind of.
Tracy Katsky, the executive producer. So also, I would say that it's kind of funny that now Malcolm is like top dog of worst things that anyone's done in the family.
Yeah,
like I feel like the show is constantly talking about that, about like which brother has done the worst stuff, and it's always been Francis. Yeah. Francis has always been the top, like you completely disgraced us. You were sent away. Yeah. But Malcolm took the cake. So congrats, man. I mean, that's not an easy thing to do.
Yep. But also I want to mention before we end the talking about episode 1, because we're going to do episode 1 and 2 in this episode of the podcast. We learned that Malcolm's new home is presumably in the same country, but it's a 2 layover flight away from wherever Hal and Lois live. Where the fuck could he possibly be living that it's a 2 layover flight in the same country?
I don't think it's possible.
We should have asked Linwood about that.
Maybe it's like a little small town in Colorado, and you have to go to a regional airport.
Yeah, you have to get on a smaller plane.
I suppose.
Single engine plane.
But also the joke is kind of that we never reveal where they live, which makes it really hard. Let me just say, Linwood and the whole team, it makes it hard to have a podcast where you talk about a family that doesn't have a last name.
It's true, it does. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So I was like, back at Hal and Lois's house, back where the family is gathered.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's kind of where the first episode ends. It's this big reveal. Oh my God, Malcolm's kept it a secret. It's a good hook, It's a great hook. And you're like, oh shit, the stakes are pretty high.
Yeah, I think the first episode does a great job in giving us an update about where everybody's at, introducing some of the new characters. I think Leah, the Keely Karsten, is unreal, so funny, and like just. Yeah, like whenever she's on screen, she's just super compelling.
Vaughn is great, of course, as Kelly.
Sorry. Oh, Vaughn's great as Kelly. Yeah, and Kiara's great as Tristan. Do we see Jamie in these first 2 episodes? Yeah, like
we see him over Zoom, and we see him in
Zoom.
like flashback. We see some flashbacks of the family and conflicts that have happened. Malcolm keying his own car, which is like a big standout for me.
Yeah.
And arguing with Francis at Ida's funeral.
Yeah, that's a good
about
scene.
television, about like a LCD versus plasma screen.
Right, which you appreciated.
I appreciated that.
Ryan, when growing up, would always just be like, "Hang on, pause. I think motion blurring's on." He'd like go to the settings of our
still do
TV and be
that.
like, "We got to turn this off." And,
Yeah.
and that was like once you started getting into film, you were like, "We need the crisp quality."
It's true. It's true. So, okay, now we're talking about episode 2, which is directed, of course, by Ken Kwapis. Well done, Ken. We loved your Big Bird film. We
Yes.
met Ken at a screening of his first film, Sesame Street: Follow That Bird, which is great and very sweet. It's
So
the first kind of
sweet.
theatrically released Sesame Street, or the first Sesame Street film. in
Those
general.
songs have been stuck into my head. It's awesome. And yeah, it was like, I think he directed it when he was like 25, dude.
Yeah, something like that.
So crazy. It makes me sick.
Anyway,
successful he is.
this episode is called Episode 2, and
Yes.
it's directed by Ken Kwapis, as I said.
Okay, you're
It was
right.
written by Linwood Boomer and, like we said earlier, Michael Glauberman.
But of course, we know the real title to be Bitter Returns
Bitter Returns.
or Bitter's Return.
So the second episode kind of begins with where Malcolm has run to,
Yes.
which is very far away. And it's nighttime. He runs to a fenced-off area,
Little farm.
where there's a horsey, and Malcolm calls Stevie on the phone.
Yes.
We catch up with Stevie, who's in his child's bedroom reading a storybook to
Yes.
his kid with his husband.
It's so fun to watch you try to say things.
Stevie has a child, and Stevie is gay. Good for
Yes,
Stevie.
and Stevie's little boy is so cute.
Yeah.
And I think his husband's a real rat.
Yeah. His husband is a kind of a sinister
He's an
character.
unlikable character.
Yeah, I mean, in this first scene where Malcolm's talking to Stevie, which is a sweet scene, and it kind of
Yes.
they've clearly kept in touch, and he's asking Stevie for help and whatever.
Yes. And Stevie, I think when he picks up is like, okay, what's wrong? Because he clearly calls him when things are going wrong.
Can you imagine Stevie reading a book to you? It would take fucking forever.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's part of the gag, I think.
Right. But then Stevie's husband talks about like, oh, you're in a wheelchair and I'm the needy one.
Yeah,
It's like,
that's the
Jesus,
button to
that's
the
the button to the
scene.
scene.
And, or the last line, we call it the button sometimes. Yeah, I think the husband is like always making jokes about Stevie's disability, which is just like tough when he's a new character, and that's kind of the biggest thing we hear from him is that he's like really resentful of his husband's like condition.
Yeah. Not a lot of good attributes in this guy that we learn throughout the show.
Yeah, no. I
But
think
Stevie is unscathed, of course.
you know, Stevie doesn't give a this shit just rolls off Stevie's back, man. He's got gauges now in his ears. Sick.
Yeah, very cool.
Stevie looks incredible. And he gives him the advice to just tell the truth, right? He's like, because Malcolm just keeps being like, well, should I tell this lie or should I tell this lie? And Stevie's just like, just fucking be honest, man. But Malcolm's gonna do what Malcolm's gonna do.
Facts.
We also thank you. We also get a horse that comes up and starts nibbling on Malcolm, and that's one of my favorite lines of the show. Is Malcolm just like goes, "Do you mind?" and like pushes the
that's
horse
good.
off.
So back at Lois and Hal's house, Francis announces to Lois and Hal that Piama's pregnant.
Yeah.
But he's announcing it right as Lois and Hal are coming back and are devastated about the reveal that Malcolm has a child. So it's kind of
Yes.
unfortunate timing.
It's terrible timing.
And Lois doesn't really give a shit about the
Yeah,
baby
yeah.
thing because of this whole thing is happening.
Yeah, and Lois has this kind of thing later where she's like, it feels like you always time everything you do in your life to be at the worst possible moment for me.
I know, which is a great moment. 'Cause
It
it's
is
like,
a
that's
great
totally
moment.
irrational. I mean, that's a
Yes,
crazy thing
and
to
she
say.
says it is. She's like, yeah, it's crazy, I know.
Yeah.
But she's honest about it. They are like two fundamentally, like they're like fable characters that are just have this deep hatred of each other and love, but really just they're like oil and water. Lois and Francis, I love it.
Yeah,
I
it's
like how
great.
they just like pushed that to the max here.
Yeah.
And Francis is so sweet about it. He's like, you're gonna be a mama.
Yeah.
And then Reese comes in and is like, it's time for recocking day. And Hal is just a blubbering, tubbling mess.
How boring. And then in the bedroom with Kelly, Reese is there and they're talking about basically Kelly reveals that they have figured out that Reese has this YouTube channel where he embarrasses Hal.
Professor Dum Dum.
Is that what it's called?
I really think it is.
Okay. And
If it's not, I'll eat my damn shorts.
Okay, and Kelly is planning on telling Hal, but not until after the reunion.
Yes.
The anniversary.
But they're really excited to tell because they snitched on Malcolm about how Malcolm's not coming to the reunion and loved snitching. And they've realized that they love being a snitch. The one thing I'll say, Kelly, snitches do get stitches. So I just would be careful there.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I understand the thrill.
Anyway, Kelly's going to reveal to Hal, but we find out that Hal actually was listening the whole time from the doorway.
Yeah, there's sort of a visual reveal that Hal's just like been in the doorway and overheard this entire conversation between Kelly and Reese.
We were a little bit confused by that moment.
Yeah.
Just something about the way that scene is shot. It's kind of unclear that, you know what it is that if we'd cut to Hal sooner,
Yes.
when they're actually talking about the video,
Yes.
then it would be like, oh, he's seen the whole thing. But Kelly and Reese talk about the video, and then they have this long conversation about when they're going to reveal it to Hal,
Right.
and all it goes on for like another 2 minutes. Then we see that Hal has been there the whole time,
Right.
and that's when he has the reaction where he falls to the ground.
Yeah, and he's like, everything.
Yeah, so it's like, why didn't Hal say anything the moment he actually learned? It's like he was
I know.
waiting for the camera to turn to him.
Yeah, it's clunky.
It was a little bit clunky.
It's a little clunky.
Also, I will say about that plot line specifically, like, I find the whole, like, he has a YouTube video about Hal being a buffoon a little bit, like, 2000, you know, it's a little bit, it feels like a little bit 2010s. Like, I don't know.
It could have been like a TikTok channel, maybe.
Yeah, but it's
more.
like a website. Like, it feels a little bit, there's something a little bit outdated about that.
A little dated about that. And honestly, it'd be funny if it was like an old
and I hate to
OnlyFans.
say okay boomer to Linwood Boomer.
But it's a little okay boomer. Yeah. It's a little okay boomer. But I appreciate the idea that Reese is like taking advantage and all of that.
Yeah.
And I like that, you know, in Hal's catatonic state, Reese tries to like whisper in his ear, like, you still like Reese. Reese is still the favorite. Because Reese has clearly enjoyed being the favorite for once.
Yeah.
Like he wants that and
He wants to have both worlds where he's spending quality time with his dad and also humiliating him on the internet.
Yeah,
and
he does.
It's a good, you know, it makes Reese still being a little shit, but it's like a shit in the internet age.
yeah, a shit online. Which I, look that up often.
Just check my search history. Shit online.
Poop, shit, defecate, kit.
Malcolm then returns home and kind of explains to Leah that his mental health depends on there not being any overlap between his OG family and his new one.
Tries to explain why he's doing what he's doing. And I think Leah's very straight up of like, you kept these people from me. Like, they could have diseases I don't know about that's hereditary. They could be, are they like me? Are they different? Are they fun? Are they nice? Like, I should know this stuff. It is a total betrayal. It's absolutely insane. And I think she rightfully is like pissed off and says as much to him, which is good.
Yeah.
But by now she clearly knows that her father's insane, and so is dealing with that.
And then back at Hal and Lois's house, Lois and Francis have a conversation about not caring about the baby, or seeming to, and that's why they have the thing about it seems like everything you do is planned. But then Lois reveals that she has this list of priorities, of the first being the anniversary, second is Hal, double whammy of finding out that Malcolm has a child, and also that Reese has been humiliating him online, so he's all fucked up. So that's Lois's second priority. And then it's like
Third is Leah.
The third is
because
Leah.
She needs to be ingratiated into the family. Fourth is the money that all the things the anniversary is going to cost. Fifth is, I don't think she had a fifth.
or a sixth. Or
Yeah.
a sixth. And the seventh or something is Francis.
Yeah, seventh. So she has a numbered, ordered list that actually, when she said it, I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. So
Francis could have been higher on that list.
Francis could have been a little higher, but
But it was also bad timing.
I also think she kind of gets a little bit of sick thrill. I do think Francis is right, like as is evidenced by stuff that happens later. I think she likes to stick it to him a little bit.
Lois tries to have sex with Hal in the bedroom, but Hal's not into it, and she says the first time he's ever. Fuck, what's the joke where she's like, "Is there any way I could pay off this bill, Mr. Plumber?" And he's like, "We could bill you with a payment plan."
Yeah, that's what it is.
Funny.
She tries to start some role playing, which I think it's been clear that role play is their favorite.
Really
thing.
gets them going.
Really gets them going, but it doesn't work, and so Lois is like, "You just refuse sex," like. And he's like, I know, and he can't even handle a hug because I imagine it would arouse him completely.
Him too much, yeah.
But he can't even handle a hug, so they just kind of do this air hug. I think Lois just, I mean, she's got so much going. I feel for the woman. She's got so much going on. She's trying to plan this anniversary, and now her husband is a vegetable.
It's true. It's true.
It's true.
Malcolm makes a phone call, voicemail to Tristan, where he's basically just lies about everything and says he's on this medication and whatever. And,
Yeah.
It's just insane. I mean, the extent to which he is a real fucker in this revival is admirable.
It is. It is. They're really just letting him be horrible.
Yeah.
So I think that's. I think it really is like the chickens come home to roost, and he,
That's the title of our episode 3.
Yes, and he's and the chickens being the family finding out about the roost being the 40th anniversary. So and Malcolm gets kind of his comeuppance for the way that he lies and deceives and has done in the original series, and obviously has continued to do since then. As we know, this is a documentary, and these are real characters.
These are real people. Leah has sneaks a phone call with the family, a video call.
This is a sad scene.
How did she get the
It's funny.
the addresses?
I don't know. I mean, she's smart as hell, but she is in the closet hiding and lies and is like, "Oh, Dad wanted me to get to know you guys," and has a Zoom with everybody. And basically, one by one, each of them starts having an excuse to get offline.
Hal has a breakdown. It's like, "Are you going to stab me in the back also?"
Yes. They also, none of them have a nice question to ask her. I mean, I think for this revival too.
Dewey leaves to go fuck that woman in the bathtub.
Yeah.
It's just not nice.
I'm sure it was nice for them. But yeah, I think also you just are like, okay, yeah, they wouldn't be that fun to hang around. And I guess I knew that, but you don't really in the original series, you're kind of like, oh, this is fun, and it's they're crazy and whatever. But now trying to watch them bring a new person into the family, I'm like, God, they are not nice.
They're difficult, and that is kind of part of why this is. It's kind of a sad season of television a little bit.
It is.
They're special. I mean, they're difficult people, and it doesn't shy away from that. I think.
And this is where Piama gives the speech about. Well, because Leah starts talking about being an outcast, and they're really not nice about it. And, Kelly just drops off the call. And Piama kind of gives this speech about how, she needs to just, imagine people have empathy. And she has an amazing line where she's like, it's like how I try to imagine I don't want to hurt everybody all the time or, not be angry all the time. Because I love that they lean into the fact that Piama just has insane anger issues. But she seems to have conquered them, so good on you.
Yeah.
But that kind of is the issue there where I'm like, what is the deal with Leah?
Yeah.
Is she empathetic? Is she not?
Real.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Let me know in the comments.
Back at Malcolm's place, he has this conversation with Tristan where he's kind of begging forgiveness, and she basically leaves and is like, "I don't think I'm ready, and you need to change a lot before that can happen."
Yeah.
And
he's
so
begging, he's screaming Tristan.
Everybody's at their lowest, at the end of this episode.
Yeah, especially Lois is at her lowest.
God damn it, I knew.
It sounded like you said everyone's at their lowest. I know. Fucking
she says she won't talk to him unless he can get his life together and get his family to take care of his family issues, and he agrees as she leaves.
I think there's even a moment where he's like, it's even worse with my brothers, and she's like, you have brothers?
Yeah.
It's like
it's so
the
sad.
amount of lies is insurmountable.
It's spoken like a news anchor. So at school, Leah kind of finally stands up for herself. Talks back to this bully
because she acts with empathy. She sees a big booger on the bully's face.
And we neglect to mention that these bullies have been being mean to her. The reason she's crying in the first episode when we first meet her is because she's been invited to a party that only nerds got invited to, essentially. She's like, the fact that I did get invited to this party means that it's like a joke that she got invited.
I guess, yeah.
That's
I think
the
it
idea.
is a real party, but if she shows up, nobody will. They'll just ice her out. She says. So but if she doesn't go, then they win. It's a catch-22.
So anyway, here she is with confronting the bully.
She's confronting the bully.
The bully sneezes.
The bully does a fake sneeze because she's like, oh, I must be allergic to something, as if she's allergic to Leah. Not nice. Yeah, because then Leah turns to camera and is like, she just fake sneezed a real booger onto her face.
Yeah, and then there's a really gross shot of a booger. It makes me
really sick. I have sickness in my stomach right now, just imagining this booger on this girl's face. They made it really gross, and I didn't like it at all.
Yeah, the scene is a little bit weird.
I don't love this scene.
The scene's a little bit clunky also, where she's deciding whether or not to. Well, I like the idea where she's deciding what she turns to camera. She's like, oh my god, should I bring it up? Be nasty or condescending or whatever. And then she's like, this moment to totally own this girl for having to poke her. And then she decides, hey, this happens to me all the time, but like you have this thing on your chin, like whatever. And then
and so she wipes it off, and Leah just moves on. It's like, okay, I felt good about that. Then a boy, like 20 feet down, comes up and is like, hey, I saw what you did there. Like, I was so ready to go in and say, oi, governor, you want a cracker for that oyster?
Yeah. Or like that Jabba the Hutt on her chin.
Yeah, he does call it a Jabba the Hutt, and then he does the little British voice, and he's like, but the way you did that made me feel kind of bad.
It's just, he's so far away that just the staging of it is like, how would he see that whole thing happened?
Yes.
And then him watching it from afar, and then
who is he to these girls? And the joke that he was gonna make. I'm sorry. I know I'm not that funny, but that was a pretty rough joke.
Yeah, and also gross.
It was so gross. Ew! It made me imagine someone putting the booger on a cracker, and I actually like. I got really sick. I got sick all over Ryan.
Can you imagine at the premiere?
All up on myself.
Bravo! You're at the party afterwards. So yeah. Anyway, they kind of have a meet cute. She's like, "Is this a meet cute? Is it a meet cute?" And then
I think it's a meet cute.
That scene is a little bit awkward. The stuff with Leah and the bullies doesn't fully land. Like the show has to do a lot, so it that never kind of connected.
I just don't really understand where she is in the social hierarchy in term, like if she is the mean girl, if she, in 30 Rock when they show like flashbacks of Liz Lemon and then you realize that she's actually kind of a bully.
Yeah,
like that is so, and it's like so clear that she's being so mean and these people are being nice, and I just there's a lack of clarity there that makes it harder for me to understand her storyline. And I think the bullies needed to be like more upfront mean too, because they're not that mean. We hear about them inviting her to this party, but it being a joke, but we don't like see it. So I don't know. And but again, Keely really sells it.
Keely's really great. Yeah, that's true.
I think she honestly makes it all work.
Yeah.
It just is. Yeah, it's really a staging thing.
That seems kind of a staging thing, I think. But yeah, there's some confusion. I'm a little bit unclear about her character when it comes to the bullies and stuff.
Yeah, like what I just said.
We end the episode with Hal and Abe, who's back,
and a old friend of ours,
Mr. Richie. Abe takes him to a clinic of some kind, basically like an ayahuasca place. And Abe was like, this is how I lost all this weight. Abe looking fantastic, by the way.
He looks pretty skinny.
And the idea is that they're going to feed Hal a ton of drugs. I guess it's like ayahuasca. It's like pills, whatever.
Well, he's just going to take ayahuasca. I think the problem is he takes a whole bowlful.
Well, yeah, exactly. So Richie is the one that's the shaman kind of, like Richie owns this place. He puts down this bowl of all these pills, and then before he can say anything, Hal swallows all of them, just as Richie brings up a scale to like do a very small, precise amount.
Right.
And he's like, is that too much? And Richie's like, not if you're like 60 elephants.
Yeah. You liked that? I
thought it was funny.
I'm really proud of Richie. He has a career. He's doing okay. It seems like I did not expect that for him.
Yeah, me neither.
So.
Good on Richie.
Yeah, good on Richie. So that he has to go in this room that's just a chair and a bucket and basically have a guided. Well, it's not going to be guided. He's going in alone. He's like, no, I need this. Like Hal's so down and at his lowest that he needs to shed everything and be reborn. And he does.
You have to wait till episode 3 to figure out if he does.
You got to wait till our review of episode 3 and 4 to know.
But that is where we leave the episode, is that he's going to kind of confront his demons. So all the characters are kind of at their lowest in this episode. But it is, if this were a movie, this is like the turning. This is kind of like the lowest point in the arc, and things start to kind of turn around. I think that the show kind of does get better. I think these first 2 episodes are very solid. But I think the
first one I like better than the second one.
Yeah, I think second episode is probably the weakest in the show in my opinion. But 3 is very good, and so is 4, I think. So it does really it ends on a high note for sure. And I do think it's successful overall.
I think so too. I think they completely got back into the weird, it's just bizarre sense of humor that the original series has. I think all the characters are like true to who they are and are acting accordingly to how they would behave, and it's really funny. Like, we were laughing a lot.
Yeah.
It's so fun. We did get to go to the premiere, and it was like a ton of influencers.
Yeah, it was very weird.
Which was so funny. It was like so many people that like before the show, they were just like taking like looking good and taking photos in front of the big screen and stuff. And so that like when characters came on screen for the first time, like we saw Abe for the first time, right? And I like wanted to be like, yeah, and like nobody made a sound.
Reacting, yeah.
And I was like, come on, man.
Yeah,
like if it was all fans, like people would be going nuts.
Yeah. But 4 is really the fan
heavy one. Yeah, it's true. Although we didn't even mention that we saw the Gentleman Callers, and we saw Craig in episode 1 at the Huge Mart.
Yeah, totally.
They do a little song and dance for Lois, not Craig. Craig's just a bystander, but they have they sing "Your Sex Takes Me to Paradise." Like, Hal has this
sex takes me to paradise, but they keep chanting it,
and they keep saying "Your sex takes me," and they just start screaming at her. "Sex takes me to paradise." Like that, like it's stuff like that where he didn't just sing the song. Like, they do this weird overextended singing of that I'm like, yeah, you're trying something strange here, and I like it.
Yeah. And I like it.
I like it.
Yeah. So I'm very happy with these first 2 episodes, and tune into our next episode where we talk about 3 and 4. I don't really know when we have so many recordings that we've done recently, guys, that we don't know when we're going to post everything, but definitely it's going to be after this episode, the next episode.
Right. I don't think we'll release 3 and 4 and then 1 and 2.
I just mean it'll be the next, it'll be the next thing that comes on our feed is this, the 3 and 4 after 1 and 2.
You think? Or we could put an interview in between.
That's true.
I don't know. Who fucking knows? But
Anyway,
we're trying our
guys,
best.
yeah.
And also, we got invited to premiere and stuff. But again, we're not making any money. So
if you guys want to pay us,
if you want to think that we're selling out, fine. But
or if you'd like subscribe to a Patreon. I mean, I don't think we have that many followers enough to do that yet. But
we could figure that out. I mean, I could start taking some pictures.
God, please no. Tell us if you would subscribe to a Patreon
and what kind of stuff would you? I mean, we could start doing content about like we keep doing the show, but then we also review movies that Frankie Muniz has done and other stuff that people have done, and whatever. Like we're big cinephiles.
Well said. And we're open to anything, so let us know.
Really, anything.
But yeah, thanks for listening, guys, and tune in next time for episode 3 and 4. And we have interviews with Vaughn and Tracy and Bryan Cranston and Linwood Boomer coming very soon.
Yep.
So I guess the Bryan one will have already come out.
Who knows? That's the exciting thing, is that the people making this don't even know.
No fucking clue.
But
anyway, guys, thanks for listening.
Stay sexy.
Stay sexy, and have a good one.
And
tell us what you think.
Yeah.
Comment and let us know what you think. We're very curious. And shout out to Gotham Podcast Network.
Yeah, the Gotham Podcast Network. We're a part of that, and we record at Gotham Production Studios. Not this one, but many of our episodes. So thank you to them. Thank you to Rose, our producer.
Listen for the poster, Sunil for the theme song,
and Liv Campbell for the clips.
All right.
Bye.
Yes, no,
Bye-bye.
maybe. I don't know. Can you repeat? Well, life is unfair.